Hello and a warm welcome to everyone. Myself Manish Prabhakar Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Model College, Kharsawa, affiliated to Kolhan University, Chaibasa. Today's lecture will be on the poem After Death by Christina Rossetti. I would try to bring out the melancholic atmosphere and make it easier for you to understand this poem. Before beginning the poem, let us know a little bit about Christina Rossetti. She was an English poet who wrote various romantic, devotional, and children's poems and published her first verse under the pseudonym Ellen Eileen. If you look at her poetry, religious imagination, and Anglican theme dominated. Poems like Goblin Market uses allegory with an unforced directness that is unusual in post-medieval English poetry. Her series of sonnets, Mona Innominata, are of autobiographical rather than of poetic interest. She published almost a dozen volumes of poetry and used simple rhythms and unpretentious imagery with a sharpness and a concentrated inwardness. Along with her brother Dante Gabriel Rossetti, who we, dis- we can say we were described as the two storms of the family. But as she grew older, she became a quite devious, devout woman who found herself odds with the world she lived in. Coming back to the poem, After Death was published in 1862 and was written in the form of Petrarchan sonnet. The poem addresses the common themes in Victorian poetry at that time, that is, death, tragic love, and the possibility of an afterlife. The poem is written from the woman's perspective. It shows the female subject laying on her deathbed who remains a motionless object of male desire. The poem is written in iambic pentameter with a rhyme scheme A B B A A B B A C D E E D C. If you look at the poem, you can see the rhyming scheme like the last word may in the second line and lay in the third line. As you know, Petrarchan sonnets are divided into two parts, that is the first 8 lines which are known as octave and the last 6 lines which are known as sestet. The mood of the sonnet is somber and the imagery helps impact the sadness of the sonnet. The poem is set after the death in a melancholic atmosphere, and the room itself presents the idea of light and dark images. It painfully illustrates the cynicism and brings out the grim bitterness of emotion. Coming to the beginning of the poem, you can notice the use of imageries. The curtains were half drawn and the floor being swept create an image of a cozy room. The half curtains clearly indicate a dimly lit room. In the second line, look at the words russes, rosemary, and may. They are the sweet smelling flowers, and their presence suggests that many people has visited when she was dead. The flowers signify the calm ambience of the place without the foul smell. The fourth line brings the image of shadows of ivy tree entering the room, bringing the idea of light and dark. It clearly brings out the theme of life and death. If you look at the first line once again, you can see that the sonnet begins with an enjambment signifying a moving flow. The second quatrain holds a rhyme scheme of the same as the first quatrain, with the lines of ABBA introducing a man who is leaning over the dead woman. By using he, she makes the identity ambiguous, making us think whether he is a lover or the woman's father. In the third line, she uses the word poor child, leading us to believe that he could be the woman's father. She could not hear him, and it looks like the silence has got a voice. If you look at the word slept in the very first line, it signifies death. While reading the poem, you could feel that her soul was present in the room, giving the poem a supernatural aura and showcases her undying love even after death. The sestet starts again with he who did not touch the garment which was covering her face. He neither took her hand nor ruffled the pillows on her head. In a way, you could say that he did not show any sign of emotions towards her. She felt that he had pity for her but didn't love her. Look at the word once dead closely. It suggests that there was a possibility of love. You can see that there have been repeated use of negative words. The last two lines are like a couplet which also presents a sarcastic tone. You can see that the speaker is criticizing the man as he pities her in her death and did not care for her while she was alive. She uses the word warm, relating it to living, while cold, relating it to death. In a way, it seems that she has accepted her death and is at ease with it. The sonnet connects the world of living and dead with the use of imageries like the flower, bringing out the melancholic atmosphere and the idea of unrequited love. Coming to the themes now, the poet has beautifully brought out the idea of death, tragic love, as well as afterlife. That is one of the most prominent themes, and she offers a different perspective on each of these themes. She writes from the perspective of a woman. If you look at the very beginning of the poem, you can see a female body, which I have already mentioned in the very beginning of the lecture. That dead body symbolizes the object of the male desire. By using the words like curtains being half drawn, shadows, the idea of light and darkness makes that quite a prominent theme of the poem. She also brings out the theme of unrequited love. The word unrequited means unfulfilled. If you look at the actions of he in the poem, he didn't show any great sorrow or love even in the end of the poem. She uses a symbol of warmth and coldness, bringing out the idea of the undying love. Throughout the poem, you can see that the poet has been able to create a supernatural aura and it also portrays the idea of afterlife. While reading the poem, you can feel the presence of spirits or souls giving us a glimpse or a possibility about the afterlife. As Dolores Rosenblum comments on the theme of dead women, as Christina Rossetti's frequent subject, she writes, and I quote, sometimes still a conscious watcher, Rossetti's dead women testifies both to the transcendence of desire and to the persistence of desire. She is dead because life is not enough and because the aesthetic of renunciation requires this ultimate gesture. Christina Rossetti has brilliantly portrayed the imagery of death throughout the poem. By the use of binary opposites like light and dark, warm and cold, she has been able to portray the contradicting ideas of life itself and how contradictory life itself is. I hope I have been able to clear and make it easier for you to understand the overall poem and the setting and the atmosphere. Till then, thank you for listening.